You have choice. You have always had choice. What change can we be today? What action can we take to create a future of greater possibilities? Welcome to the Choice, Change and Action podcast with your host, Simone Milasas. Hi everybody, welcome to the Choice, Change and Action podcast. You're with me, Simone Milasas, and I am in a very unique place, and I am extremely grateful to be here, and hopefully I'll take some photos and you'll be able to see them on my Instagram, and you'll also be able to follow us on El Lugar Instagram as well. That's where I am. Surprise! I'm in Costa Rica, and I'm at El Lugar, which is the place in English. And it's a resort that we are creating over here in Costa Rica. And we were just talking today, it's been about 10 years since we found the property. And it's happening, kids. It's happening. It's here. I'm staying on a casa, a house, here on the property. There's 4 of them that have been done so far. And I am here with 2 of my very good friends. I'm extremely grateful for these 2 people in my life. But not only are they good friends of mine, they are also 2 of the key elements of making sure that shit happens here and things get done and we create this business here in Costa Rica. So welcome Claudia, Cano.
Hi.
And David Kubes.
Hello.
So where do we want to start? What do we want to talk about here with this beautiful, and we're actually doing this just to set the scene in case you hear some noises. We were going to do it in my room, and I said, let's do it on the veranda because we might just get some of the noises of Costa Rica, hence the birds just came by. And you never know, we might hit one of those amazing tropical storms that come by as well. So, you never know what's going to happen next.
So what fascinates me most about this project is that we are doing everything so different than how you learn it in school, how other project development companies doing it, how other hotel chains would do that. And still, we are moving on all the time. We started construction the day the world shut down because of COVID on March 17, 2020. And now, a year and a half later, we just finished our first 4 casitas fully furnished and already test living here. So to see
that was my job. That was one of my jobs.
Yeah, you were to test tummies. And it's brilliant to see how beautifully this project kept going no matter what showed up, and how this can actually truly be a possibility. It's one thing to talk about instituting a business and reading about it, or even going to classes, but having this incredible possibility to be it in action and to practice it and to be it and to institute it all, and then see the magic showing up. So one of the things that you said right at the beginning is that we've been doing this different than any other hotel. I guess you said chain. Did you say chain? Hotel development company.
Hotel development company. Okay, so what's the main couple of things that you see of how different we are being than any other hotel development company? Besides the fact that we've got Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, running the show. That's different in itself.
Well, what I've been involved in the development of projects, of businesses, even of hotels, and what everybody does, everybody comes up with an idea, everybody comes up with a business plan, and then it's only about putting that first initial idea into place. There is no space for change, and that's what we are doing different. We do have a business plan. We do set goals. We do set targets. We have calculation of a business plan. We have it all, but every time we find out something else is required, we change it. And that's the big difference. We change the business plan, we change the construction plan, we change the opening dates, we change everything the minute we find out, oh wow, change is required in order to move on. And I can
in order to move on, change is required in order to move on. It's a really key piece here, because so many people don't usually acknowledge that if you acknowledge that change is required in order to move on and to make that change. And I see so many people in business would prefer to stick to what they've decided that their original plan or budget, etc., is, rather than go, you know what if we changed everything?
And you just mentioned budget, because this is also something we constantly keep changing. When things show up different and when you require more money to get the change done, we don't look at, okay, we can't afford this change. We go, okay, so let's create that money. So it's this driving force of moving on that always keeps the project going. And this is probably the reason why this project was the only project in Costa Rica that kept going during lockdown. Every other project, the minute they announced the lockdown, everybody went into, okay, let's close it down, let's prepare for the difficult time, let's fire people. They all went into close it down and prepare for the full stop. We started in the midst of all this chaos and said, no, nothing is going to stop us. What do we need to do and be different here to keep going?
But not from fight either.
No, like, we are going to keep moving and we'll show you. Never.
Yeah. So what's it been like for you, Claudia, with the...
Well, the first thing that David was saying about keep going and moving, usually companies start cutting like expenses or go for cheaper things. We never do that. We always go for what is going to be more and create more for the project. And that just impulses everything to keep moving forward and impulses us to look for more possibilities to create more with it.
And I see also, because that's not from making it about getting the most expensive product either.
No.
It's not making it about the money. The money is irrelevant, which is pretty much what you mentioned too, David. It's like...
It is... Money is relevant and it is irrelevant. You have to be aware of your finances, okay? And you have to have this financial awareness of where you are, which gives you the information where you need to create more revenue if you want to accomplish what you have in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not functioning from this is the set budget and then we are cutting expenses to meet that limit. No, we're just pushing the limit towards the edge, expanding the edge is just more and more. You can't create a business by cutting costs. This is probably what I learned with this project, and this is, if any other business owner is listening, you can't grow by cutting down.
You know, my dad was an accountant, and that's what he taught me right at the beginning. He used to get me to look at my profit and loss statement, and he'd say, okay, I want you to look at your profit, everything that you're spending, all of your expenses. Do you need it all? Like that, that's the first question. Do you need it? And I'd look through and I'd be like, yes. Or maybe there was one or two things that, okay, maybe I don't require this. And he was like, okay, so now I want you to look at what else can you create? And that's what he always taught me. But I see so many people do that thing of going, we have to cut the expenses. Oh my God, it's COVID, blah, 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 all that sort of crap. And it's like we have to cut something else out rather than, well, what else can we create? So my question to both of you is, how has that been received here with that sort of point of view?
Everyone is really impressed by it. And they know it's like almost like magic. They just are wowed by it.
Yeah.
And sometimes they try to go into, wow, that is not going to be, we're not going to be able to pull it off or to make it. And then when we do, they just go like, wow, this is possible.
Yeah.
So it's very impressive for them that we keep going. And also the part that I love about this project is that we include everyone and everything, nature, the community, the town, the country, everything is included. We don't go like, this is our project and this is our bubble and no one else is invited to it. It's like...
So tell me more about that. Give me some examples.
Well, we are hiring people from the community. Mm-hmm. We are trying to maintain the construction companies. We try to keep them from here and to hire people from here, not from the big towns, or like they're used to bring people from the big town from San Jose. Mm-hmm. And we're keeping most of the people we're hiring from here.
And when you say here, what region are we in?
In Sarapiqui, in Costa Rica, like the town. We're in the middle of nowhere.
And I love it.
There is a little town,
It's a little
10 minutes from here. Let's call it a village or a conglomeration of buildings.
Houses, of little houses.
And how has that been received with them in the local villages?
Everyone is really, really happy, and they are embracing us. And they're also like telling everyone how nice we are to them, because we are always really caring about them. We don't try to exploit them. It's like, oh, COVID times, we're going to hire people and pay them less, and they'll be happy to have a job. No, we pay them as it should be, as usual. Yeah. And they're really happy to work for us, and they tell everyone how good it is to work with us. And they, quote unquote, they even protect us from like people that want to.
Because they're also the ones who take advantage. So yeah. I remember when we started, it was the week before the COVID lockdown, when we said, okay, we're going to do this with locals. There was the guy, he's now our foreman for the infrastructure. He came and he was suspicious. He said, hey, what's that? He only came to find out whether it was true, what he was told. Because normally the big guys from the US come in, hire a construction company, they hire subcontractors, that hires a subcontractor, money goes to big company, and the region gets nothing. And right. What, you want to hire me direct? He couldn't believe it.
Right.
And he wouldn't even, I can come by. And he just was very suspicious.
And he's a local guy.
He's a local guy, and he's fluent in English as well. He lived in the United States, so he met me, he met David, Kat, and Claudia, and we had that conversation. And he was like, if that is true, wow, I never thought. He's like 65, about to retire. He said, if that's true, wow, I learned something. I thought that I've seen everything out there.
Wow, that's really cool.
Oh, well, guess what? He learned. Yeah. And he's not going to retire anymore. He started a new business with his son. Yeah. Because of COVID, we also had to look at how do we treat the subcontractors differently, because you can't run a full company just with one project. So what we did with this company, because they all struggled with losing the other business, we actually bought them a machine, and they paid us back by working it on the property. This is our little, microfinancing structures showed up, and we explored them. And this is how we didn't have to prove that we are different, but we created a space so people can actually digest the different we are. And we didn't make them wrong for being suspicious, because we know how big American companies treat countryside Costa Rica people normally.
So allowing them to embrace the difference as they embrace it.
Yes.
And some have that mentality of like, now I'm going to work for you, I'm going to take whatever I can while you're here before you leave. That has happened too. And there's people that we have worked with like forever, like this tour guide that it's been our driver, it's been here forever. And he sometimes talks to them and he's like, you know what, they're different. Right. If you really stick with them and create with them, then your life is going to be better and you're going to create more with them than if you're trying to take advantage of them because you think they're normal companies that come and take and leave.
No, it's not a quick fix. We're here to stay.
Mm-mm.
Yes, and those who did, we got rid of them. Yeah. So we this is,
which to me is a level of receiving on both parts that people have to have. The people who are willing to receive. Like when I used to do business in India years ago, I used to walk the streets and talk about different deals and negotiate, etc. And I was always looking for somebody who was willing to create a future with me, not just like, how much money are you going to give me today? It was like, well, how much money are we getting today? But also, what's the future going to be? Yes. Like, what future can we create and actualize together? And to me, that's a greater world.
That is, and this is what we actually showed them. And now they know it. We're a year and a half in now with construction, and people are lining up to work for this project. So it's now not. It's actually an honor to be involved in El Lugar. And of course, there are still people coming, trying to take. But everybody knows it's Costa Rica. They talk. And we have the information before they even show up, because people care about us.
Right.
And they let us know.
Yeah.
And they are not bad-mouthing anymore. No, they say, hey, you helped us, you cared about us, now we care for you. It's actually a very beautiful communion that we established with everyone involved in the project.
And it's also about honoring them, because we are really, really grateful for every single person that works with us. It's like they're such a gift, and they know that for us they are a gift. So whoever can receive it, then they see us as a super gift too. So it's this exchange and quote unquote exchange of
it creates a much better working relationship.
Yes.
So without having any expectations of El Lugar, because you know what, when I came here the other day and I didn't realize if I had an expectation or not, but I was like, my gosh, this place is amazing. Like, I've been to this property a lot, and I've, ridden a horse across it, etc. And there's only been one building on here. I haven't been here through the beginning of the development stage, and got here and got to my casa, and I was like, this is way nicer than what I expected. But I didn't realize I had an expectation until that thought process went through my head. And I am so grateful for the amazing elegance and the beauty and the difference, and how every single casa is showing up to be so different as well, which I've got to say, Gary Douglas, I take my hat off to you a billion times over, because he is so consistent with creating that difference on every single place, and every single place having its own, I want to say, personality as such. And so what has been the surprise for you guys here with El Lugar? Or has this shown up the way you thought, or what's...
It never shows up the way you think it's gonna show up. It's, for me, every day is a surprise. Every day is something like, okay, this has to change, because sometimes things are like, that's a little interesting, and it always gets greater. So that for me is amazing, because every single day there's something greater that show up when we thought that was a problem. So it's been amazing, and it's always grander, and it's...
So what are some of the tools of access consciousness that you would use in those moments where you're like...
Sometimes I want to kill people, and I embrace it.
Hey, that's a good tool too. It's like, I get it.
Like, I want to kill them.
Indulge in killing them,
I don't know,
but
indulge
don't.
in kill them, but don't. Exactly.
We need a pig farm before you start killing people, because pigs will eat anything.
Exactly.
We're kidding.
It's just a joke. I always ask, how does it get any better? That's my favorite one. And I also, when I start to get like this frustration, I start just like, quote unquote, braining myself. And I just go like, interesting point of view. Interesting point of view that I want to kill these people. Interesting point of view that I'm so angry. Interesting point of view that it's wrong that this is happening. Interesting point of view that this is wrong or that it's right. It's just like, everything is just an interesting point of view.
Yeah.
And that just changes all the perspectives, and everything comes greater.
It does. Greater. When you actually allow yourself to be out of control, it's like everything can show up greater. And be aware, like that spherical awareness of everything, instead of this like focused, two-dimensional, reality. You have this like 360 degrees of choice and change and possibilities that's available to you if you're willing to receive it. So, David, for you, it's like, what has anything shown up here that's been a surprise to you, or?
Yes.
Every day, again.
Every day, in a good and in a bad way. Let's start with the good one. I do travel a lot, and I stay in really luxury hotels according to this reality, and I really enjoy that.
You're a snob.
Yes, I am, absolutely.
I am too. I love it.
I work a lot, I travel a lot.
I backpacked years ago. I've been there, done that.
Exactly. And these 4 houses, it's 8 bedrooms, are just, with the first container of furniture Gary Douglas sent from Houston, they just put them in. It wasn't organized, nothing, just that we actually can sleep, sit, shower, and test the 4 houses. But even that the atmosphere that's created in every hotel, there's this sense of loneliness, of emptiness, these hotels I stayed with, it doesn't allow you to have this, wow, I'm home. But that, when I arrived this time now and saw the first really poorly furnished houses, it already gives you this, wow, it's not empty, okay?
Yeah.
It's nurturing.
I've got to say too, though, like, I mean, where I am now, and I will take a photo of this, guys, is where I am now, and when you wake up and I look outside, and it's like waking up to that, like the nature is such a contribution. It's yeah. I mean, the casa itself, but it brings in the nature.
It nurtures you. You're here and you're being nurtured. It's not you. I was like, what is it? The colors? Is it the linens? What is it?
It's very green.
No, the houses of everything. It's just, I can only say it's instead of empty and you are here for business. You are a guest. It kind of creates this, wow. It's nurturing. It's somehow you start to relax on a different level. That deep relaxation where you go, cool, that's unique. And I think you can't really describe it. You just have to come here and experience it.
Well, and this is just the beginning. So we've got lots more to build on here. So keep watching out. And you can follow El Lugar on, do you have the Instagram handle?
El Lugar, maybe. I don't know.
We'll have it in the show notes anyway.
Yes.
We'll have it in the show notes. And if you go to my Instagram as well, I'll have some photos up there of where we are right now. I'll put that up there. And I also want to recommend too, there's a book that Gary Douglas, who's the founder of Access Consciousness, wrote, is called The Place, which, as I said right at the beginning, we named this property El Lugar, which is the place in Spanish. And to me, it has that energy. If you haven't got the book, please read it. It's in audio. It's in English. It's in a couple of different languages, actually. It's in Spanish as well.
And Portuguese.
And Italian. And it's in Gary's voice for the English audio as well. And the way he describes being with the land and being with animals and being with other people, etc., is how I always perceived that we should be here on planet Earth. And to me, this is very much coming alive at El Lugar here. And I am so grateful to be here these few days that I am. I'm so grateful to be here with you guys. And everything that you guys are contributing is just like, off the charts. And Mr. David Caddy, who unfortunately is not here while I'm here this time. But he's been a major contribution as well. And there's been so many people who, Liam Bramley, there's been a lot of people who are just a major contribution to this coming to fruition. So please follow us. Like I said, I'll put it in the show notes with El Lugar, and I'll take some photos. It's EL_Lugar, LUGAR_resort. So, and like I said, we'll put it in the show notes. So is there anything else you guys want to add to what this has been like for you?
It's been an adventure, an ongoing adventure.
And there's wait till the doors open.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and the gate, hello, the gate is amazing. Wait till the gate opens and we get the influx of people. It's going to be incredible. And
it's also a dream coming true.
Yeah, it is really a dream coming true. That is very true, Claudia. Yes.
It's a dream coming true, and it is opening this door to a future that I think everybody who desires something different for our planet, for ourselves, for our communities, the door has been opened and we can be that here.
Yeah.
It's not about another hotel, another venue. This is going to be so different in many ways. And it will be a roller coaster, but one of the good ones, that you want to pay for to take another ride.
Well, I'm also going to say, I think once you come to El Lugar, it's not like you can only have this sense of peace and relaxation and presence here. You get to take that with you. Yeah. It shows you. It shows you more of you, and then you get to have that and be that wherever you are in the world.
Yeah.
So it's not just this is the place.
Yeah, it's just like I want to be there.
Yeah, it becomes the entirety of the world.
You become it and you be it, so you cannot really leave anymore.
And it's really nice to be here too.
Yes, it's wonderful to be here. And it's not actually super hot today, which is pretty nice.
Beautiful day today. And thank you, Simone, for being our very first official guest and our test guinea pig for water pressure, toilet, shower, just for everything.
I wake up in the morning like, have you showered? Yes, I did.
How was it?
Not because you smell, because you want to know if the water pressure was correct. Was the water hot enough?
We've had lots of different conversations about water pressure, about coffee machines, about screens, about everything, beds. It's like, you know what? It's just going to be even more fabulous by the time you get here. So we welcome you to El Lugar, and thank you for joining us here today. And thank you, Miss Claudia, Cano, and David Kubes.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. If you're enjoying this podcast and have a question or topic you'd like me to address, please leave a review wherever you are listening. The best way for me to know what it is you want to hear about is to send in your questions, and we actually read all the reviews that come in. So let us know which episodes you loved and what you want to hear about next, right there in the podcast reviews. And thank you. Truly, truly grateful.